Okay, so in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a simple multiple choice question within the H5P content. So at this point, you should have already learned how to log in to Pressbooks and identify or go to the Introduction to Theater Learning Resources book. You'll be on the dashboard, but you want to look over here on the left menu for H5P content towards the bottom. And you can either go to all H5P content just to kind of browse what's in there, but you can also do add new directly. If you go to the all H5P content and want to create a new one, you click the add new button, which is right at the top next to the title. Okay, so you have to think of a title for your multiple choice question. I happen to be interested in lighting because I have a photography background, so I'm going to create a multiple choice question on lighting design roles in production. And so this question is going to be like right from Theatrical Worlds. It's going to use the information I read in there about that lighting design chapter. So I click the drop down menu down next to select content type, and you'll see multiple choice is right up here at the top. You want to click this blue use button on the right. If for some reason you would want to review like a tutorial on this topic, say this tutorial's not in-depth enough for you, you could click this tutorial button right up here under the content type. And you can also see an example of what this type of H5P content is. So these will take you right to h5p.org to their tutorial and example page. If I want to add an image or a video for this multiple choice question, it'll show above the text. I click this drop down arrow next to media, and for type, I'm just going to click image just to show you what adding a photograph would be like. So I have a question about lighting and who's responsible for the physical role of setting up lighting. So I'm just going to scan through some photographs I have here on my hard drive and maybe pick one that is a lighting rig to illustrate this. It's not necessary. You don't have to have an image or a video to go with this. If you do have an image, you want to provide alternative text for people who use screen readers. So I'm just going to say here that this is let's say a 3-column lighting rig on the right side of a stage. So if I scroll further down, you want to present your question right here in the question box. And my question is, I'll just go ahead and copy and paste it because I have it written out already in Word. So I'm just doing Control V to paste it in. I did Control C to copy over in Word, and I'm doing Control V to paste it into Pressbooks. According to Cassandra Jurin, author of the chapter on lighting design in theatrical worlds, there are 3 roles responsible for setting up the lighting for productions. Which role would be responsible for the physical implementation, making sure all the lighting instruments or fixtures get hung and focused correctly? Okay, so I have over in Word, and you can't see this on the screen right now, the options that I want to give the students to choose from. So the first one is the lighting designer. Okay, that's not the correct answer, so I'm not going to select this box here, correct? If you want to, you can provide a learning experience for them, like an enrichment of their learning experience by giving feedback if they happen to select this answer rather than the correct one. So maybe in tip text, I could actually give an explanation of what this role does. So I'm going to copy and paste from Word. The lighting designer is a leading role in creating the meaning and intent of a scene by painting with light. He or she pays attention to what the lights, shadows, highlights, shades, color of light, and cookies are conveying in the scenes of a play. He or she works closely with the director, assistant lighting designer, and master electrician to set the cueing of the lights for a production. He or she brings the natural world to life on the stage. Okay, so there's your top dog for lighting design. So that's not our correct answer. The next option I'm going to set up is the assistant lighting designer. Okay, so it's not correct, but I will give a little tip about what the assistant lighting designer does here. The assistant lighting designer facilitates communication between the lighting designer and the production team, as well as helps with required paperwork for production. So I've actually seen this process, and the assistant lighting designer will sit beside the lead designer and has a microphone, and they talk to the actors or the stand-in actors on stage and tell them to go to certain points in the set, so the lighting designer can then shine certain lights on them, and you can get a feel for, where that spotlight's falling. Is it falling in the correct position? Okay, I'm going to add another option here. I want more than two. My third one is the master electrician. And this is the correct answer. So I'm just going to say, good job. That's the correct one. I'm going to add another option, a fourth one, and I'm going to say the director of the production. And this is not correct. I don't have an explanation for the director right now. Yeah, I need an explanation for that. So I'm just going to leave it blank for the moment. And there's this thing called overall feedback. You don't have to do this. You don't have to add this. If they scored within a certain percentage range, this is all or nothing. It's like one answer, one correct answer. If they get it, they get 100%. You can just ignore that. There's behavioral settings that will let you set like a retry button. It's on by default. There's a show solution button, which is on by default, and there's randomize answers. I don't alter these. I just leave them set the way, the system has them right now. And there's also this thing called text overrides, which allows you to control labels on buttons, like the show solution retry button. I don't mess with this, honestly. I just leave this alone. Okay, so if I scroll up back to the top, the button to actually submit this and create this is right up here in the far right corner. Now this is a characteristic of WordPress sites and Pressbook, which is based off of WordPress. So don't miss this important create button right here. So there's display options, the toolbar, below the content, download button, embed button, copyright button. You can go ahead and set all that. If you wanted to set copyright on your image, I forgot to tell you. You can give your image a title. Maybe I'll just call it lighting rig, and I'll put my name. If you're the photographer, or if you know the photographer, you can put that in and the year that they took the picture. And there's a license that we're encouraging to use, which is attribution, meaning they have to give you credit for using your content, as well as non-commercial and share alike. So non-commercial means they can't use it to make money, and share alike means that if they use it and they either keep it the way it is or modify it, they have to give you attribution and also make their new derivative share alike so others can use it too. and leave it at 4.0 international so that this copyright sticks not only in the United States but in other countries as well. Okay, enough about copyright. Let's go ahead and create it. Okay, so here it is. This is what it's going to look like. Here's its ID up here on the upper right. You don't have to worry about that, except for that we would like to have this ID as well as like the title and a description of what you created. Maybe you can give the question and the answers with the correct one designated when you submit it to Blackboard. So let me just check it out here. Maybe I'll do an incorrect one and see what happens and hit check. So you see you have like, they can either say, okay, I'm done with this, I'm going to see the solution, or they could retry. And if they retry and get it correct, this is what the student will see. So now when I go back to H5P, all H5P content on the left, I can see my newly created multiple choice question right here at the top. Go ahead and submit this title, the content type, and the ID, the H5P ID, to Blackboard to get credit for this assignment.